The best thing about sandbox games is that you can do whatever the hell you want. There isn't one main story or questline that contains all of the content. In fact, sandbox games don't really set any boundaries for you. Rather, you get to make them for yourself. But this is sometimes also the worst part of sandbox games, because often we don't pay attention to the boundaries we're setting ourselves. In fact, often these boundaries aren't even ones that we've set out for ourselves, but rather boundaries that others have already marked out. We get online and sink endless hours into fame farming and scouring the black market to flip items because that's how we think the game is played. That's what everyone does. But all this really does is burn us out of the game. Eventually, you get to a point where you log on because you're bored and want something to do and just realize that you don't feel like doing anything in the game either. If this sounds like you, and it has certainly been me, there's a good chance you aren't experiencing the true essence of sandbox games, or maybe you've forgotten it. To set your own boundaries, make your own way of playing, create your own goals and accomplish them the way that you want to. Surpass your own limits. Some people have tons of fun fame farming for hours on end and finding black market deals, and if that truly is the way that you want to play and the way you enjoy the game, then go ahead, play that way. But playing like that, playing the most optimal way, is not for everybody. So if you don't have fun playing that way, then don't. Because with no restrictions on how you play the game, you can truly play the game in any way that you want to. It seems simple, but it's something that people often forget. That's where this series comes in. I want us to make a character bound by my own rules and restrictions with my own set of unique challenges and goals. Welcome to All Alone in the Black Zone. With this series, I want to capture not just the true essence of sandbox games, but of Albion specifically. The most defining feature of Albion is its dangerous open world PvP, and what better place to experience this than the Black Zone? It's the largest, most expansive part of the Albion world, full of its own unique challenges. So, I'm locking myself inside of it. I won't be able to leave the Outlands, where I can be attacked at any point, in any area, by anyone, and lose everything that I have. I also have always enjoyed games where you're completely self-sufficient, like survival games where you have to build everything from the ground up and slowly become more powerful. So I'm going to be doing this completely alone. I can receive no help from anybody. This means no teaming, no trading, I can't even use the markets or any player-made objects. Now, in order to be able to play the game at all, I need some minor exceptions to these restrictions. First, I need access to an island so that I can make stations and farm plots. Without them, I won't be able to progress past tier 2. Now, since I can't teleport to and from my island to the Black Zone with items on me, I'll be allowed in towns to move to and from the realm gates to my islands. Second, the only other reason I'll ever be allowed outside of the Black Zone is when accessing an Artifact Foundry. There's a lot of content locked behind the Artifact Foundry for me, namely upgrading gear and getting access to artifacts. Since I can't make an Artifact Foundry without building my own hideout and upgrading it, which would be quite the task, I'm allowing myself to use it in the towns. There are also two exceptions to me being a solo-only player. The first is that I will be receiving a one-time premium payment of 30 days for my main account at the start of the series. Technically, this isn't required, but the grind, as you'll see in episode 1, would be absolutely absurd without it, and I'm just not about that life. Ideally, from there on I'll be paying the premium for the account with the silver that it earns, but if I'm really struggling for money, I may pay it for my main account again. The second exception to the solo-only game mode is that I may kill other players and take their loot, because what would be the fun without that? For fights that get third-partied by somebody, I will evaluate on a case-to-case basis. For kills that I think that I would have gotten without any help, I will loot them, but for ones that I don't think I would have gotten without the help, I will not be allowed to loot them. Now, finally, no series is complete without a goal. Something to give purpose to the grinds and that brings the series together, giving us a nice endpoint. And for my goal, I want to get a kill with every single weapon. Currently, there are 15 different weapon trees containing 105 unique weapons. I will need to acquire them all and get at least one kill with each of them. This will certainly be an interesting journey, and I'm very excited to share it with all of you. So I'll see you in episode 1 very soon.